with light and energy. You're not counting molecules. You're not counting the stars, trying to get to them, trying to populate them. It's so different. It's a different reality when you get to a point when you let go of mind. And if you keep with mind, which science does, they're only going to perceive the physical formulas of the physical reality. The physical reality does not function in the astral reality. You don't breathe, you don't eat, you don't do those things the same as you have to do here. So every level you move higher, it's less aware of everything you think you're learning down here that's helping you get forward. There's nothing here that can help you survive on the astral plane. Everything you learn, building a house, building a car, building a spaceship, traveling through space, growing carrots, growing peas, has nothing to do with the astral body. So there's a big twist and separation between mind and I call it ego mind, because man thinks mind is God and all that and connected to it, which is, it would prove that God is a sick, perverted, twisted man or being if we are a part of it in a working level and understanding. So yeah, some people will never understand that. And that's why reincarnation exists, which is being proven over and over. And it's going to happen every day, every year now in a greater level. So people can perceive the truth about death and start understanding it, that it's not as science says it is, and it's not about mind. I mean, Buddha taught about mind. That's where the whole thinking, mind consciousness came from. But go in history, there was no real teaching of God. Going back to the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Hindu people, they dealt with deities and aliens. There was never a concept of God even. So yeah, there's a lot
so
of
back
learning.
to universes. Universes
Well,
and
the
dimensions,
universes,
you don't think they're the same thing? Because science says there's 10 dimensions. Now, some people say there's 11 and 12. I do too, but it just depends on how we think. And where is your inner core, in your universe?
Okay,
it's
my
like
soul. My
finding
soul is
ourself versus, yeah.
Okay, when we talk, TJ, there's five lower realms: the physical, the astral, the mental, the causal, and the etheric planes. And then there's the soul plane. Soul plane is where soul dwells. But soul can move beyond that as well. But you don't have a male or female body. You don't have a body that looks like a body. So the whole concept is useless to try to think about that when you still have a body, and you still got to go to the bathroom, you still got to brush your teeth, you still got to eat, and all those things. The second you leave your body...
I see this no more so than the theory that I had. It's just a theory. You don't have no proof of this.
Well, getting back to the point, proving you're out of the body proves you're not this physical body. I mean, there's a religion called a religion called Shav Yoga, and they have been leaving their bodies, traveling the inner worlds to the astral plane and mental plane. You go to these high gurus and masters and listen to what they say and what they experience and what you can experience. When you leave the astral plane, you're not going to experience anything of people, robots, computers, games, toys, any of that. It's non-existent there. So when you go there, and I'll tell you this, I had 5 death experiences, and I'm aware of what happened in every one of them. And they are completely different than what most people say.
You completely went off track here.
We were talking about getting into the dimensions and the different
we were
realities.
talking about, do you think, it was a simple question, do you think there's other realities or there is other dimensions? It was a simple question. We didn't need a whole theology lesson.
6th dimension, 7th dimension, those are hard to explain. If our universe is created inside our own mind, we need to understand what universal laws are, and yet there is things like gravity, weak force, strong force. These, I guess, is how we've started talking to each other in philosophy, and then we went into science. And I guess this is something we need to look at, because if we go back in history, from what we can see, basically it was all philosophy anyway. And it still is when they give a PhD in philosophy, right? They become a doctor in philosophy. But do we believe what everybody says? No. Each individual has their own perception. So shared, when we come here and we all share and people are listening to us out there, we all know that we each have our own individual way of being. But what makes us who we are is we're looking, are we an allied command, one that can come together in alliance? And are we really a space origin? Are we one? Is there something that makes us similar? Now, in science, they would call us a species because we all can think at a certain level and recognize ourselves in mirrors, a little different than animals. Well, maybe dolphins, I don't know, they say elephants, dolphins, certain things can understand looking in a mirror, but not everybody knows the presence of their self. And that's really deep. But here with Allied Command, how much of us is going to share our innermost thoughts of what we are on the outside? And I guess we're creating our own reality on a regular basis, day to day. What do you think, Ken? Do you feel like you're changing daily?
I know it sounds like somebody's eating in a bowl of ice cream, scraping the side of the bowl, and it's getting an awful clink and clank going on while you're trying to talk, and it is frustrating. So I wanted to put that in.
Tommy off. It comes from Hawaii. I'm sorry. It's not Tommy. It's in the airwaves. But Tommy, okay. I'll put you on mute. But go ahead. Now we can hear you. There you go.
Ask me your question now that I've gotten rid of all the squeaking and scraping. So, what do I believe that of other dimensions and what we're doing and what specifically?
Yeah, we're sort of going into. We're going into, if we're all, I guess the best way to say, if we're all individuals, we all have an inner, like me, you, Tommy, we're all individuals, but yet we're all thought of as one species, scientifically, right? So when we come together in these universal laws, a quick summary, of the universe, so to speak, the gravity, weak nuclear, strong nuclear, electromagnetism, but when we're together, something keeps us in our body. We know we're something. And now at this point in space, we're all thinking about more. We have time to think that we're more. And I don't know if video games are helping that or not. But you as an individual, and how do you connect with us and why? Me and Ahmad, we do this for a reason. And I'm trying to get to, I don't think we're going to change anything, but maybe we do every day. Do you feel like you're changing every day yourself?
I think I can go back to, and I think you'll get into this more when you get into the religious side. Biblically, we wind up, we're put here. Why are we here on the planet Earth? Why are we here in this physical body? Why are we here? And I look at, thank you very much, blow your nose someplace else. Anyway, I think it's that we're here to learn, that this is a training field. This is an experience. And that's why the more we can take advantage of the opportunity here in this phase of existence that we're in, the more we can understand in a higher level. And I've always believed, and this is my own personal belief, is that once we have achieved what we were sent here into this body and this realm and this existence to learn, then we're in better position to be able to go out and create another universe, another existence, and everything else. And if you want to use the term God, we basically will be looking over our dimensions that we've created, and hopefully that we learned enough that we can make it do right. Unfortunately, that's why I think we have so much right and wrong, and true and false, and existence that is challenged. Do we truly exist right now or not? But it's a case of where are we in our own development that we can be then accepted to be the deity in charge of creating a whole new existence, I should say. This is really, really a heavy conversation that we've gotten into this evening, and I hope that our listeners are enjoying some of it and could jump in and put their 2 cents in. So we're dealing mostly with what we each have experienced or what we have studied, and to many cases of what we believe. And I'm very pleased to say that I've tried to stick closely to just that which I have experienced, that which I know is real in my existence. And that's been the one thing that's probably kept me alive and kept me going. And I think that my handler, if you want to use the term, or deity that has kind of been watching over me, kept me from getting my fanny killed many times, and probably has an objective and a goal that I'm supposed to achieve. And if a part of that is being on this radio program and talking about things with you other folks, part of our existence, and I'm taking it as a part of education. So I'm learning more, and keep it coming.
Well, that's good because the mysteries of life keep us interested, right?
Right.
I fully agree with Ken. And now I wasn't trying to put Tommy's ideas down. I was just trying to get the fact that it was really out there. His reality and everybody else's reality might not necessarily be the same. I hope my reality isn't the same as everybody else's. I mean, personally, I like to be a creator.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole point. I think is that we are different. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
We're all different.
Neither one of us is necessarily right. Totally right or totally wrong.
Right. That's the whole fun of being here. The mystery of the universe. Our future is our mystery of our universe, what we're creating. And nobody's creating the same thing together. We think we are, but when all's said and done and you go to sleep at night, your own thoughts come up, don't they? You preview and you go into your own dreams, and sometimes you don't even recognize your own dreams. So that's the point, is that we're all unique, and we are doing expanding. The expanse is maybe these new dimensions. We know we're in the 3 dimension, and it's hard to explain to people that time and space is a 4th dimension. But we have to, it's like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, when you want to go meet somebody, like we come here, we know where, the day, or when, we know when we want to based on time. That gives us our 4th dimension, because you know the place and you know who you're going to meet if you're going to meet somebody. But you've got to have a time and space, and that's gives you the 4th dimension. But all these other dimensions, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, we're trying to do our best to figure out if they're really a part of the other universes, are they other realms or dimensions, are they all the same? And we're all beginning our own. And what was born before the Big Bang if it wasn't thought? And thoughts are expanding. And here's the point I was trying to make it. The whole thing is we're inner and we're outer. Uh-oh. So, Ken, are you still there?
Oh, I sure am.
Okay. Well, we've only got about 5 minutes left or so. A mad painter has done a really good job tonight, has his Tommy Hawwksblood, who's on here. And, Tommy, it is the sound. You may not can hear it, but we can. There's all kind of weird noises coming from your connection.
Well, I live
wonder
in Hawaii,
why.
and it's very noisy. But what I just wanted to say, I'll just throw 2 cents in before I get off. But when you say everybody's making noise, a problem. But basically, what's happening, you're here to try. Most people try to think they're going to change the world. Realize when you say religion, there's 2.4 billion Christians. There's 2 billion Muslims. That's a big percentage of the world that believe a specific thing. So when we say, what do we believe in? Very few people believe in certain facts. So it's always a matter of how many people agree on it. When it comes to theory, the more people believe it, it's accepted. But I'll leave it at that because it's just so noisy.
Yeah, the doggies are barking now. But, Tommy, we'll see you on Tuesday, right? Tuesday with Tina Bird and helping us with more UFO, anything you can get on any data input on the UFO Association and the different things that are going on, the events, and just give us a weekly report will be a help, Tommy, on that. And then,
just want to say,
Ken, are you going?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Ken, are you going anywhere on a speaking at anything?
Oh, and my wife has that whole schedule. I'm going to have a calendar hanging right over my desk where I can look at it and keep it at the front of my frontal lobe so I can remember. But I've got a couple of speeches and things coming up real soon. I think next week I'm going to be traveling with my wife, so I'll let you know, and I'll wherever I go I'll try to log in a little while. Okay.
All right. Well, Richard, the guy that's in our information intelligence security, Richard Pruitt. He bought your 2 books, and he took a picture of them and sent them to me to show me. Just so you know, Richard Pruitt that was visiting.
Yeah, the name rings a bell. I thought you had a copy that I sent you.
I do. I have a